Hey everyone, Renata from the eSpot here with the first of a new series called New Sounds of Finland. And in this series, I'll be covering new Finnish language music. Sometimes that will be albums or just singles, and I'll be doing music both from established artists and from some new artists. I have wanted to do this series for a while because for about the past year or so, I have almost exclusively listened to Finnish language music. And I really have just totally fallen in love with not only the language, but the entire Finnish music scene in general. And so the kind of point of this series is to highlight all of the new music that I am excited about. So today I want to talk about a new band called Hyvää Viikonloppua. And these guys have totally just taken over my airwaves since they released their debut album back at the end of November. A friend had messaged me back in November and they said, hey, this band just put out an album. I think you would really like it and you should check it out. And boy, were they right. I actually recognized the name of the band right away. And so I went back into my listening statistics and I saw that I actually had listened to them before. I listened to their song Huurteisen Seikkailu 3 times back in July. And as soon as I played the song, I like instantly remembered it because at the time I had been getting ready to actually move to Finland and I was packing up my apartment and just kind of like letting Spotify take the reins and just play me whatever music. And I remembered the song because I was like in another room and I heard it playing and I'm like, oh my God, this is like aggressively Finnish. Like, what is this? Like, I feel like I can taste Lonkero just listening to this song. And I was thinking, like, is it like Teflon Brothers or Pasiansi that I've just never heard before? Because it seemed kind of like that sort of vibe. And then I looked at the TV because that's how I was playing the music, and I saw it was Hyvää Viikonloppua, and I thought that was whatever, a funny name, means have a good weekend. But then I just kind of like I went back to packing and moved to Finland and all that, and I just kind of forgot about it. And so I'm really glad actually that this person messaged me and told me that they had an album coming out because the album is really great. Like I absolutely love it. It is genuinely a zero skip album for me. And there's a few songs that are already like kind of on my repeat right now. Songs that I'll play and just like have to play them again as soon as I've already listened to them. So, yeah, in general, it's just like a really nice mix of dance music, pop music, sort of disco, and a little bit of rap. And I find the whole vibe super appealing, and I have really been enjoying listening to this album. But before I get into my album review, I actually want to talk a little bit about the band. They were started back in 2022, but there's not a ton that's actually out there about them. And what does exist is like all in Finnish. So I actually reached out to Hyvää Viikonloppua and asked them some questions, and they were nice enough to answer those questions and to give a little bit of insight into like who they are and the type of music that they make. They gave me really thoughtful answers, so out of appreciation for that, I would rather not paraphrase their words. So I'm actually just going to read you their responses. My first question was like, "Who is Hyvää Viikonloppua?" And they said, "We are a band dedicated to creating feel-good music that lifts people's spirits. In short, we make party music that brings weekend vibes to life, no matter what day of the week it actually is." And I really kind of love that sort of philosophy about who they are, bringing the weekend into the rest of your life, because that actually is the kind of vibe that I tend to look for in music. And it's why I am like so obsessed with Portion Boys, because they sort of have the same vibe, like bringing in these like happy moments to everyday life. And it's just like, it's so easy to get into a funk and not feel excited, especially if there's not a lot going on, or like being in Finland in the beginning of winter and it's like dark all the time and just kind of like a little bit just depressing, to like have that kind of outlet of escapism through listening to music, like the music that they're making. The next question was, why did you start the band? And they said that the idea for the band was born when Arati, the producer, had long dreamed of creating a band focused on feel-good weekend energy. Robin, the singer, and Arati had previously worked together on Robin's solo work projects, so they already had a strong connection. And Valtteri, the rapper, joined the project on a whim, even though he had no prior musical experience. He said, quote, "I've got some rhymes that I've written on my phone, and let's see what happens." We hit the studio, recorded our track Huurteinen Seikkailu, and the demo was so well received by friends and listeners that we decided to form the band, release the song, and keep making more music. And here we are today, first album out a bit over 2 years later. So I also asked them if if they were working towards an album or if it was just something that kind of happened on its own. And they said at first we hadn't planned on releasing an album, but as we created more and more music that felt too good not to share, we realized that this band could really go places. So we decided to create an album and release it. The album puts together our journey from the past 2 years, all the way from our first song, Huurteisen Seikkailu, to new bangers that we're really excited about. I think it's really cool how organically the band seemed to have come together and put this album together. It wasn't something that like a record label signed them and told them that they needed to put out an album, so they made a whole bunch of songs. That it seemed like something that almost, sometimes things feel like they're meant to be. You start a project with your friends, you don't have, grand sights on what it will be, and you just let it become what it is, which I think is really cool. And I think it actually resulted in an album that flows really well together. And I think it's a good representation, probably, of these three guys, the type of music they want to make, and also like what we can expect from them in the future. The next question was 3 words that describe the band. And they said it's energetic, humorous, and surprising. The vibe of our band always aims to be energetic, humorous, and full of color and surprises. It's a celebration of life and fun for everyone. That's spot on. When you listen to the album, you can totally get that. And it's really what endeared me to the band. I love that it's energetic. I love energetic music. And I love stuff that makes me want to dance. But I also love music that isn't too serious. I listen to serious music too, but I like music that isn't too serious and that can be a little bit funny and work humor into the music. And this is something that comes up a lot in Eurovision discourse where people tend to call songs that are funny joke songs. But just because a song is funny doesn't mean that it is a joke song. Like there's actually a really big difference. And I feel like Hyvää Viikonloppua, they're doing a really good job of kind of like making good songs that happen to be funny. So it's really like just so right up my alley. And I cannot wait to see these guys live. And I had asked them, what can we expect at your gigs? Because I am very curious what their gigs are like. And they said, when people come to our gigs, they can expect a truly unique experience, one where they can let loose, have fun, and party hard. We're 3 goofy guys who give it our all every time, ensuring that everyone in the crowd is enjoying the show and celebrating with us. So, based on the clips that I have seen from their gigs, what they said is true. They definitely allow people like the space to let go on their YouTube channel, which you should definitely check out and subscribe to at Hyvää Viikonloppua. They actually have a short documentary, and it's about 12 gigs that they did in 3 days over Johannes in 2023. First of all, that's insane. That is insane. I don't know how you can do that many gigs in such a short period of time. But basically, they drove around and they did all these private parties at weird places like golf courses and the backyard at cottages and barns. They've done house parties. they've done all these kind of like weird places. And I have to say that the people who booked them for these like barn shows and yard shows, they're so lucky that they got in when they did, because I don't think that going forward you're just going to be able to like book these guys so easily. Like their career is probably about to pop off. Those people really got an awesome experience being able to do that crazy uh, gig marathon. So now that we have all that covered, let's actually get into the album. It's called PreSeason Huurteinen Seikkailu, which means Frosty Adventure. And that is based off of the title of their breakout hit. I'm going to say a little bit about all of the songs. Some I'll say a little bit more than others, but do keep in mind that my Finnish is not really good, so a lot of my comments are just going to be like based off of vibes and what I was able to get like from lyric translations or asking people like what the hell are these guys singing about. So instead of going song by song, I'm actually going to break them up into some categories because there's actually a kind of good bit of variety in the album regarding how the songs sound. First, I'm going to do the party songs, and then like the more pop songs, and then finally cover some of the slower songs. And I realize that there's sort of a fine line between what's a party song and what's a pop song. But I'm basing this off of like how much I would expect to hear the songs in a like non-nightlife context. So like on the radio, like when I'm out, things that people might listen to when they're not, wanting to get drunk. Because I'm gonna spoil it. A lot of these songs are just about getting drunk. Um, so the first song I'm gonna cover is called Hyvää Viikonloppua. Really smart to make a song with your band name, especially when you're a new artist. And it's a fucking banger. Really fun, really upbeat, really catchy. I'm always finding myself just like randomly just being like, "Hyvää Viikonloppua." It's just like, it really gets stuck in your head. Um, I couldn't find any lyrics for this song, but a theme of the song is definitely getting drunk because they do sing a few times about Jaeger shots. This is a recurring theme that is going to keep coming up because they are a party band. Um, Lots and lots of drinking. Okay, next of the party songs is Huurteisen Seikkailu, which has been mentioned already. This song has 2 million streams for a reason. These guys really caught lightning in a bottle with this song. It's just so good. There's so many distinct parts of it, and every distinct part is really great. Um, the synth lines are so good, basically impossible not to dance to. Like even the most rigid person on earth, like they would still be like, they'd be tapping their toes to it. Even if they hated it, they'd still be like, you can't not feel this one. It just has such a good energy to it. And this song, for me in particular, is a great example of how beautiful Finnish is. Because even lyrics that are totally ridiculous can sound really, really beautiful. When I first started listening to the song, I kind of got a little bit fixated on the part of the chorus where they say, Rai rai rattiritti ralla, korvan humalalla, kun eto mun alla, anna mun panna, suhuni kalja. I would just think, fuck, man, that sounds so beautiful. Like it sounds so like romantic. Like I like kind of melt a little bit whenever I hear it. And then I looked at the lyrics, and basically it means that like you're not under me and we're not screwing, so I'm gonna get wasted. So very romantic, very very romantic lyrics there. And this is not the first, nor will it be the last time that I get really obsessed about particular Finnish lyrics that are actually disgusting. Or maybe not disgusting, but not what they sound like to me. And part of this is it's the recurrence of the double L, Allah, alle. Um, it just sounds so creamy. I don't know. Okay, next party song, Suomineito, which means Maiden of Finland. This is another song that I would describe as being like aggressively Finnish, and it's sort of part of the name. It's about the Maiden of Finland. The synth, it has like this really heavy kind of Eurodance vibe, this sort of like, I don't know, village disco music that's so popular here. Um, there's no lyrics for this song anywhere. So I asked a friend what it's about, and they said that it was about, quote, their love for Suomineito, the things you can say about the land and a woman, a lot of alcohol mentioned. So again, with the theme of drinking and getting drunk, and a little bit more on drinking and getting drunk. My favorite song on this album is Paha. This song is great. It's basically about drinking all weekend. And the title actually translates to Evil Lurks, which is kind of a reference to the feeling that you get like on a Sunday after you've been binge drinking all weekend. So I don't actually drink any alcohol. I don't remember the last time that I was drunk, but I actually used to drink a lot. So I can really relate to what they're singing about on the song because it's actually the way that I used to party. So really hard, multiple days in a row, going from party to party to the point that the nights start to blend together. And then suddenly you wake up on Sunday, you feel like 10 pounds of shit in a 5 pound bag. And then the next weekend comes, like an idiot, you do it all over again. So I think they really captured the feeling of this song, especially in the second verse of the song, because the vocals start to get very fast, very staccato, and you get the sense that there's like a desperation in what they're singing about and in their voice. And the lyrics are basically like about kind of spiraling out of control to the point that like you're borrowing money so that you can get drunk the next weekend. And then at the end of this kind of frenetic verse, the final chorus comes back in and the party starts again, and it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant song. So the last of the party songs and also the last song on the album is Roppa Kaupalla, Juomapeli. This is a drinking song to the max. It has this kind of like circus music type of sound, like something you'd play if you were playing musical chairs or doing games at like a baby shower or a wedding. It's honestly quite obnoxious, and I don't necessarily mean that like in a bad way because I do like the song and I love obnoxious music, but I could really understand like why some people might not like this song. There could also definitely be a criticism here that a song like this is sort of glorifying alcohol abuse. And actually, you could kind of say that about Hyvää Viikonloppua's music in general, that maybe that it glorifies alcohol abuse. But I really don't feel that way about this song or drinking songs in general or Hyvää Viikonloppua's music. The wonderful thing about art and about music is that it can like transport us into a different mindset and give us freedom to imagine ourselves doing things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. And I think that's true of other genres of music. For example, people into gangster rap don't necessarily belong to gangs. People into death metal aren't necessarily violent. So, in the same way, like, even though I don't drink anymore, that doesn't stop me from being able to enjoy music that is about partying because the truth is, I love to party and I love to have fun. And you actually don't need to drink to have fun. And you can still enjoy music about drinking, even if you don't. So, with that, we will move on to the more pop type songs that are on this album. First one, this title is very hard for me to say. Tanssilattialle kuuluu seista. They say it extremely fast in the song. So when I like first looked at like listened and looked at the words being written, I was like, is that really what they're saying? Because they like all runs together like it. Stuff. Like it's so fast. So this song is actually with the feature artist Sexika Sukla, who was also the MC at their album release, which was at the semifinal Tavastia location. Um, Saksika Sukla is like a really big star. He's the singer of the band Lahia Botox. He's been in TV shows. He's a YouTuber. Very interesting, very talented guy. Obviously, it's great to have an established star on one of your tracks when you're a new artist. So, like, if you happen to be someone who likes Saksika Sukla, this might be a good way to like get you into Hyvää Viikonloppua because it's a bit of familiarity there with the established artists. So very cool song. It's got kind of like nice sort of trumpet elements. It almost gives it sort of like a tropical Miami kind of vibe. Really nice to dance to. I could see this one being on the radio. Really good track. Next of the pop songs is Mina Kompisar. This is a very cool song. And it's actually one of their only music videos, and I think the only video from this album. Um, and that did help me understand kind of what the song is about because I couldn't find any lyrics for this song. Apparently, Mina kompisar means my friends in Swedish, and the video shows the band going on a ferry to Stockholm. So I'm guessing it's about going with your friends to Stockholm, just based off of the whole context. I know that they do say Mina kompisar on the song. I'm not sure how much of the song is actually in Swedish. I know at least one part they say "Jag älskar du," which I think is "I love you" in Swedish. So there's definitely a few words in Swedish in this song, but I do think it's mostly or almost entirely in Finnish. But the video reminded me of a really funny situation I was in before I had left for Finland, where I was talking to one of my bosses about Finland, and she told me how she had been to Finland before. She had spent a day in Helsinki, and then she took a ferry to Tallinn, and that I needed to watch out and be careful because Finnish people really like to get drunk. Which, like, yes, Finnish people do really like to get drunk, but a ferry to Tallinn is not like the best example of like Finns on good behavior. It's like going to New Orleans at Mardi Gras and then coming away from it and being like, whew, those people down in New Orleans, man, they just show tits in the street. Like, yeah, they do. Like, but it's they're like there's a time and a place for everything, and the time and the place for getting absolutely shit faced, fucking wasted when you're a Finnish person is on a boat to Tallinn. So, um, anyway, moving on. Next song, Huulet. This is another song that has a featured artist, someone named Gebo Tebo. I can find nothing about this artist literally anywhere. This is the only song that they have listed on Spotify. So if you know anything about Gebo Tebo, please put the details in the comments and enlighten us all. This is another song that there's no lyrics for. And I was noticing that a lot of the songs that don't have lyrics are the ones that came out specifically on this album, which this is one of the songs that had not been previously released. Um, so Hulet means lips, uh, and the song has kind of like a sexy vibe to it. Like it's the kind of song that makes you sort of like want to dance really close to somebody. So, like, I have a guess about what it might be about. I didn't ask anybody for a translation, but I have a guess. So, last of the pop songs is one called Nabilet. I love this song. Love it. Great dance track. I could really see myself getting nasty like on the dance floor to this song. Like it's one of those songs that makes you kind of want to like, where you like make a kind of face. Yeah, that's what this song is for me. Uh really great. I love this one. It's also a bit funny for me because when I first looked at it or first listened to it, I guess, and I heard them saying Nabilet, I kind of laughed because in Polish, nabilet means per ticket. So my Polish mind, which is always my second language default, sort of was thinking like, oh, it's about like having a ticket for something. But then being like, well, no, because bilet doesn't mean ticket in Finnish. Lipu means ticket. So I did look it up, and the title actually means this party. So another song about partying, big surprise. Okay, now moving on to the slower songs that are on the album. These two songs, absolutely amazing. First one is called Amelia. This is another one of my favorite songs on the album. I love the instrumentation. It's got kind of like a cool saxophone kind of groove to it. The vocals are awesome. The singer, I'm pretty sure that it's Robin, has this really sexy kind of like pack a day smoker kind of voice. And on this song, I feel like he gets to show off a little bit more than he does on maybe the other songs. One of my good friends here is named Amelia, and I sent her the song, and she agreed. It is a banger. So the song actually is Amelia approved, and I did look up the lyrics for this song because it was one that had them, and it's sort of like the begging almost to a girl named Amelia in a club to like leave the club together. And this Amelia, she must have been hot stuff because you can kind of hear it in the song where it's like this like you just want to be with Amelia so bad, and like even visually, like when I listened to this song and I read the lyrics, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is all making sense. Like I feel like I've witnessed those sorts of moments, been in those sorts of moments with other people where it's like where you meet someone at the club and you just like you're like, oh fuck, I gotta take them home, I gotta take them home, and that's sort of like the whole vibe of this particular song is. Another slow song that they have on the album is another one of what I think are the best songs on the album, which is funny, right? Because they're a party band and I love the party songs, but the least party songs also happen to be really, really good on their own. So this song is called Hanoi. Another one with great vocals, which really makes me wonder what his capabilities are as a singer. And if it is Robin, like I think it is, what was the solo music that he was doing? Because I'm really interested to hear it because he's definitely got some talent. Musically, song is really nice. Has like this really nice sort of chill groove, so it makes it suitable for those moments where maybe you're not trying to listen to party music. I actually like this song a lot more once I saw the translation of the lyrics, because it's sort of like about nostalgia and getting older and like me being an early middle-aged person, like I can really sort of understand those feelings. It's something I deal with all the time. I also thought that this song was about Vietnam at first because of the title Hanoi. And then I looked at the lyrics and I saw that it's actually a reference to the band Hanoi Rocks, which is a glam rock band from Finland. And I had never heard of them before in my life. They mentioned Andy McCoy, never heard of this man before, but they never got popular in the US. So that is probably why. I'm also not super into glam rock, so I just never had come across it before. Um, but I did, after reading about Hanoi Rocks, I did go and I listened to some of their music, and I do like it. It's pretty good. I especially like the song Village Girl because I happen to be a village girl. Um, so I think it's really cool part of this song is that it taught me a little bit about like Finnish music history, Finnish culture that I hadn't been aware of in the past, which is kind of one of those reasons why I like listening to Finnish music because there's the basic language skills that you pick up, learning new words, um, and then also learning other elements of the culture that maybe I wouldn't have probably been exposed to Hanoi Rocks in any other context had it not been for this song. So I really love this album. I need to check, but it's going to be one of my more listened to albums of the year, I think. I just love it. Can't wait to see what they do. If you guys think you might like it, I absolutely think you should check out their music. Go to their Spotify, go to their social media. They do TikTok, Instagram. They've got gigs coming up. They have gigs coming up. Check out the gigs if they're coming to your city. And yeah, stay tuned for the next edition of New Sounds of Finland. Don't know when it will be. I guess someone just has to put out a song that I go crazy for. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.